at everybody that, ay, sí, bien, y buenos días, feliz lunes, as happy as a Monday can be, feliz lunes. Bien, vamos a practicar con mandatos. We're going to practice with commands, take any questions you have about that a little bit later, but we're going to start. Vamos a empezar. We're going to start instead of starting with the commands, which is more grammar-y, although we're going to keep it with lots of examples. So hopefully the pain of the grammar-y stuff will be less. We're going to start with our video and any questions you have, and our two related questions from the video, which there are only two. So, that one is kind of easy, es fácil. Pero, quiero saber, vamos a empezar con sus preguntas sobre el video de Andrés de buscar un piso nuevo. Tenemos en español, tenemos en inglés, perdón, tenemos en inglés la palabra apartment, pero la palabra que se usa para expresar apartment depende. Mm, depende de la región. Depends on the region you're in, the country you're in. En España se dice apartment piso. Piso también es floor, ¿verdad?
Mhm.
Floor es una palabra para expresar floor, what we walk on. Pero piso en español también, además de floor, es apartment. En México, se dice departamento o apartamento. Depende. Entonces, por lo general se usan como tres palabras. Y vale, sí. Ah, bueno, ah, este, este video me encantó porque podemos ver si el precio al mes de varios apartamentos, ¿sí? De varios pisos. ¿Cuáles son sus preguntas? What are your questions on anything? Because I asked you to try to catch as much as you could and then bring in your questions. ¿Hay preguntas de una frase que no entendieron? Buenas, Julie.
He kept using a word that I wasn't sure I was spelling correctly to try to figure out what it was. I think it was a swear word, but I'm not sure. He was when he was it was feo, muy feo y something else, and he said it repeatedly, but I never quite was sure what he was saying.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I
I
wasn't
can't tell you
catching
where.
everything you said.
Oh,
Which is there a number marker or the
I
exact
forgot to
word?
do that. No,
Muy
it
feo.
was on, but okay,
Yeah,
that
the
was
word.
it
Yeah.
was like grito or grito was a what or mito me something I had it written down when I thought it was.
Okay.
While she's looking, I could just ask a quick one.
Sí, sí, sí.
You say it a lot. Also, he said "haber" a lot.
A ver,
And that
yeah.
means, does that mean let's see?
Let's see.
And so so then he said "vamos a ver las" something in plural. Can
We're
you
going to look at.
explain? Yeah, are we going to talk about that?
Sí.
Why you do that?
Vamos
With
a ver es literalmente we're going to look at or we're going to see.
yeah.
Pero también vamos a ver or a ver,
A ver.
a ver.
Okay.
People say it almost as an afterthought. I do say it a lot. A ver, let's see.
Okay.
You're moving on to something else. You're looking for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the
Okay.
same meaning.
Yeah, I
It's
saw him doing that too, and I'm like, oh, she uses that a lot. I should ask about it. So
a
thank you.
ver, a
Mm-hmm.
ver,
Mm-hmm.
a
I've
ver.
given
I'm
up.
looking for something usually when I'm doing that. A
Mm-hmm.
ver.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that link? And Julie, or if you can,
I've given up. I had it written down what I thought he was saying, but I can't find it. So
okay.
forget it.
Or if you find it or it comes to mind, type it in the chat box
It was
and
in the context of something was many things were fail. And when they were really bad, this is the word he used, but I don't know what it was. So I'll
okay.
find it eventually.
A ver. Entonces, hablo. Oh, a couple things I do want you to notice about the video, though, because there are a few little phrases in here that were kind of interesting. Y vale la pena. It's worth it to. And notice. First thing I want you guys to notice. Busco un piso de 3 habitaciones. I'm looking for a 3-bedroom apartment.
Mhm.
Uh, busco un piso. Looking for never uses the word for.
Oh.
We don't need the English word for because the for is built in. Okay. There are a number of verbs like that in Spanish where an extra word we would need in English is built in and you don't translate that at all. Entonces, busco un piso es I'm looking for an apartment, okay? There is no for word there, so I wanted you to notice that. Uh, yeah, oh, there's one of his a ver.
Right.
There's one of his a ver pause phrases. Uh, uy, ¿dónde? Aquí, por dentro, on the inside, sí, por dentro, se ve bonita, se ve. Here's another use of ver, but it's different from a ver or vamos a ver. Se
Mhm.
ve, is reflexive, isn't it? Because it's got that little word se in front of it.
Mhm.
But this actually is a phrase that people use a ton in conversation. Se ve bonita. It looks pretty. Se ve here, you would think because it's reflexive, it's like, that doesn't make sense. It looks at itself. No, it doesn't look at itself. Se ve with a description means it looks a certain way. Okay? Se ve. It looks. Se ve feo. It looks ugly. It looks bad, yeah? Se ve bonita. Se ve interesante. Se ve colorido. Looks colorful. Okay. People also use it to talk about people. Okay. Like te ves muy joven. You look so young. Yeah. Someone is saying you don't look your age. Te ves, sí. Te ves, te ves muy joven. You look really young. So that se ve thing is actually super helpful because we use that a lot. And notice they do teletrabajando. Yeah, remote work,
Mhm.
teletrabajando. We kind of borrow that. Well, yeah, it is kind of borrowed, teletrabajando. Bien. Anybody who does remote kind of work. Y, es la única cosa, no sé. Ah, okay. Creo que, I think those were se ve bien, here again, se ve. Tiene espacio, se ve bien. It looks pretty good. Se ve bien, se ve bien. Ah, bueno.
So there's always a descriptive adjective after using se ve,
Yeah,
like
sí.
pretty or good or
Yes.
yeah.
It'll
Okay.
never be se ve without a description.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll always have a description. Sí.
Mhm.
Um, sí. Se ve muy grande. It looks really big. You know, there'll always be a description with it. Creo que es lo único. Oh, and notice filtrar. Filtrar looks like filter, but we use this filtrar when you want to, eliminate other stuff. You
Narrow
apply a
down.
filter. Yeah, you want to scan through. You want to screen out stuff. Yeah, you want to screen out the other options. Filtrar. Filtrar para buscar los más baratos. I am scanning through or I'm filtering through. I'm eliminating some stuff, yeah, to look for the cheapest ones. Bien, bueno, okay. Y feo. Feo is used a lot more in Spanish, I think, than it is in English. We translate feo as ugly, of course, but feo is used a lot for any situation that you think looks bad. Yeah. Where in English, we probably wouldn't use the word ugly. If it's like a messed up, botched up, bad looking thing, people will often call it feo. Okay. Este espacio es muy feo. This space is ugly. You probably wouldn't say ugly. Uh, this place looks bad. It looks gross. You'd probably use a different word, but feo, sí. Y feísimo. Here's we got one. He had a number of these, feísimo. The ísimo,
Thank you.
ísimo always makes it amplifies whatever that quality is. Feísimo is like saying extremely bad looking, extremely ugly looking. Me duelen los ojos. My eyes hurt. It makes my eyes hurt. ¿Sí? Bien, esos sí, tirados a la basura. Yeah, 750 euros thrown in the trash. Uh, okay. Bien. ¿Otra pregunta o no? ¿No?
I just want to know how he thought he would find something really nice like in Barcelona
Oh,
for 900 euros.
sí, sí, sí.
Madrid.
Creo que fue una broma. I think that part was a joke because to say you're going to go to the most expensive city in the country and find something cheaper than where you live. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did that on purpose to pull up the most expensive stuff there. Yeah, he would absolutely know, totally know, that would be crazy expensive. Okay. Vale, sí. Oh, la única cosa. The only thing he mentioned a croma. There was the one word I had to look up. ¿Qué es una croma? Crona. He did not mention it here, but he mentioned one room and, no sé exactamente dónde está, pero, vamos a ver. Una croma, I will show you what that was. ¿Qué es? Momentito. Vale, aquí vamos. Una croma is a chrome key. Well, what that means is a whole big setup for filming so that you can put something else in your background and you're not really in that place. But yeah, a green screen, but a really big green screen and all the equipment so that you can fill in a different background from where you really are. So he was talking about using one room for filming his videos and needing to put this kind of equipment in it. So that was something, a techie thing that you maybe wouldn't have known. Vale. Bueno. Adelante, adelante. Ah, hay ah, hay dos preguntas que tenemos y quizás podemos conversar un poquito. Estas son preguntas que se tratan de temas del vídeo, ¿sí? Porque cuando buscamos un lugar como un apartamento, un condominio, una casa, ¿sí? Ah, tenemos requisitos. We've got some prerequisite stuffs we want to have. We've got some things, some must-haves, ¿sí? Los requisitos. Cosas que quieren tener en el espacio de vivir, ¿sí? Y cuáles, y él habló de algunas cosas en su En su piso actual o su apartamento actual, his current apartment, actual es current. En su piso actual, sí, había problemas con el fregadero, había problemas con goteras en el techo. Goteras were leaks, yeah. Gotera, what he first showed, when he showed leaks in the ceiling, see? Una gotera is a leak, and that comes from the word gota. A gota is a drop. So if things keep dropping, drip, drip, drip through the ceiling, it becomes a gotera, a leak. Okay? Pero gota is just a drop of any kind of liquid, yeah? Una gota. Ok. ¿Cuáles son las cosas de tu casa, de tu apartamento, de tu condominio que quieres cambiar o arreglar? Any things you want to change or fix? ¿Sí? ¿Cuáles son las cosas de tu casa que quieres cambiar? Que quieres cambiar. Por ejemplo, por ejemplo, tengo muchos ejemplos en mi casa. Ah, ah, me gustaría cambiar por completo los gabinetes en mi cocina. Los gabinetes para los platos, para los vasos, sí. Gabinetes son cabinets, sí. Me gustaría reemplazar por completo los gabinetes en mi cocina. ¿Cuáles son cosas en sus casas que quieren cambiar?
Mi esposa quiere gabinetes nuevos también.
Sí. Y es costoso, ¿no?
Sí.
Es costoso.
And these are fine.
That's the,
Sí.
speak to my husband, Mark.
Los gabinetes míos no son muy buenos y una vez, hace como 5 años, sí, mi esposo vi por dentro del gabinete y dijo, no fijaron de manera muy buena estos gabinetes. He didn't really like fix these in, right? ¿Cómo se? I attach, sí. Bien, pero así es. Y tienen como 40 años. They're like 40 years old. Ok. Sí, no los quiero. I don't want them. No los quiero porque son viejos, son muy viejos, sí. Y están gastados, yeah. They're pretty worn out. Ok, vale. Otras cosas que ustedes quieren cambiar o arreglar or fix. Nada, ustedes tienen casas perfectas. Wow. Quiero ver tus casas, sus casas. I want to see your houses. Wow, porque son perfectas.
¿Cómo se
But,
dice
but
countertop? How do you say
Oh,
countertop?
countertop. Un mostrador.
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 Mostrador is a counter.
Necesito un nuevo mostrador.
Sí, eso
Sí.
también es muy común, ¿verdad? Es muy común
There. Oh,
cambiar.
here. See? Lots
Oh.
of grout. I don't know how you say grout in Spanish either.
Uy, ni
Right?
yo tampoco. ¿Cómo se
No.
dice grout? Voy a buscar.
Mhm.
Bueno, ¿cómo se
Mhm.
dice grout? Hay que.
Es difícil para
Ah,
limpiar.
type of more. Uy,
Pero
grout.
fue muy
Ah,
popular.
Sí, sí.
ok, pastina lechada. Wow, lechada. Boquilla, there are a bunch of different words. Lechada boquilla, me imagino. Ok, bien. Sí, eso es difícil. Es difícil de limpiar, ¿no?
Sí, sí.
Sí,
Yeah.
entiendo, entiendo. Ok, Bueno, otras cosas que quieren cambiar.
Necesito cambiar mis alfombras. Alfombras. Carpet.
Alfombras, sí,
Ah,
carpets.
sí.
Sí, las alfombras, sí. Sí, igual aquí. Eso
Mm.
también.
Oh, yeah.
Alfombras, la cocina, dos baños, tengo dos, sí, ahí. Ok, vale. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más
Mm,
quieren cambiar?
mm.
¿Algo o
May-
no?
I'll try one.
Bien.
Me gustaría persianas de madera blanca en mi sala.
Madera blanca, white wood.
Yeah, shutters, per persianas, persianas, persianas,
Oh, persianas, sí.
persianas,
Persianas son blinds, sí.
blank, sí. Ujú.
Persianas, persianas,
De
sí,
madera blanca.
persianas es la palabra para blinds, para
Ujú.
cubrir una
Yeah,
ventana, sí,
yeah. Of
para
wood.
dar
Ujú.
sombra, to give shade, para dar sombra del sol.
Mhm.
Sí, persianas, Persians, persianas son muy comunes aquí, sí. Y de madera blanca, white wood.
Mhm.
Sí.
Wow, bien. Bueno, ¿algo más o no?
Mm.
Uh,
I'll go.
ok.
Mi cocina es muy vieja. Me gusta gabinetes nuevos.
Bien, sí. Ok. Sí, gabinetes nuevos, sí. Exacto,
That
sí.
that must be the one thing you've never heard a man say. I want new kitchen cabinets.
No, nadie, sí.
They only
Y
think
no sé
about the
por qué.
price.
Sí, bueno, la madera en mis gabinetes no es madera de verdad, ¿sí?
Ah,
Mhm.
Es
Sí.
como madera falsa, sí.
Ujú.
Y,
Yeah,
y
yeah,
por
no.
eso después de 40 años, 30 años,
Ajá.
no se ven muy bien. They don't look so good. No se ven muy bien, ¿sí?
Or in Espanol, I hope I'm saying this anywhere close to right. No arreglar lo que no está broken.
oh,
Si
don't
no
fix it.
está roto, if it's not broken,
Don't fix it.
No arreglar. No lo arreglar.
la filosofía de la vida,
Mhm.
¿sí? Si no está roto,
Está roto.
sí, no lo arregles, no lo arregles, don't fix it. Si no está, there comes a command. Si no está roto, no lo arregles. If it's not broken, don't go
Sí.
fixing it.
Okay.
Right, Sam?
Yep.
Es,
I
es,
agree. Sí.
es toda una filosofía de la vida. Sí, creo que sí, creo que sí. Bien. Vale, bueno, sí. También me gustaría pintar las paredes de la cocina y del salón, de la sala, pero alguien me dijo, somebody told me, me dijo que me costaría como $10,000. $10,000 para pintar la sala aquí donde
Wow.
trabajo, la sala como de vivir, family room, sí, y la
Mhm.
cocina, porque tengo techos muy altos, paredes muy altas. Y por eso, y con el techo también, que sería muy, muy, muy difícil. Sí, bueno, tendría que pagar como $10,000. Y le dijo que no.
Wow.
Después de pagar por las ventanas, no tengo $10,000. Bien, vale. Bueno, ok. Adelante. ¿Cómo sería? How would it be? ¿Cómo sería la casa ideal o apartamento, el apartamento ideal? ¿Cómo sería? How would it be? How would it be? Bien. Ah, una casa ideal. Una casa ideal para mí, ah, uh, tendría, it would have, I'm going to plug in here so that you can see this verb. Tendría,
Andrea.
it would
Tendría.
have,
Tendría. Tener.
Andrea.
or sería, it would be. And you can see
Tendría.
what verbs those come from, or you can probably guess. That first one comes from tener, although it gets a D in the middle. It's an oddball thing, yeah? And these are the words, and all you can need to know is that that is the word that they would use. Tendría means it would have, or sería, it would be, okay? One comes from ser, one comes from tener. Mi casa tendría como baños nuevos, ¿sí? Una ducha nueva, ¿sí? Una ducha moderna. Mi casa ideal tendría duchas modernas, porque las mías, otra vez, ya,
Andrea.
sí, son muy, mis baños son muy viejos. Bien, ¿qué más?
Aldo, Sam.
Sí.
Tendría a three como, what's the word? Hold on. Dormitorios. Which are
Dormitorio.
bedrooms.
¿Dormitorios?
Eh,
¿Habitaciones?
Tres baños.
¿Tres baños?
Una cocina muy grande.
Una cocina grande.
That's what it
Sí,
means.
una cocina grande es importante para mí porque un hobby mío es cocinar y hornear, baking, ¿sí? Me gusta hornear, me gusta cocinar mucho, así que para mí una cocina grande es muy importante. Bien, ¿y ustedes, cómo sería la casa ideal? Julie.
Mi casa ideal tendría un armario, no, armario en la habitación principal, que es un California closet.
Ok,
Ah,
bien, sí, armarios son closets. Sí, los armarios son importantes, ¿no?
Sí.
Son muy importantes, ¿sí? Ah, bien, bien. Bueno, ¿qué más?
I can do.
Ah,
Sí, Jean.
Mi casa ideal tendría una cocina muy bonita y um, um, tendría dos hornos, una lavadora grande, el fregadero grande, right? Sí,
Sí, bien. Dos hornos, sí.
sí,
Una vez yo tenía un horno doble.
sí.
Y me gustó
Ujú,
muchísimo, sí.
ujú.
A ver, ah, bien, excelente. Bueno, ¿qué más?
ah, tendría muchas ventanas con hermosas vistas.
Ah,
Excelente, sí, con hermosas vistas, with beautiful views, sí, eso, sí, muy importante, sí. Bueno, ¿Para cuántas personas sería importante tener piscina? Tener una piscina. ¿No?
No.
Ah,
Yo tampoco.
sí.
No tengo piscina. Sí, para ti es importante, Cindy.
A mí me gusta
Sí.
porque yo no nadar en la piscina in the neighborhood, la
Oh,
Piscina.
sí, en el barrio, sí.
sí, ya veo.
En el barrio, sí, así es. Bueno, y a veces hay personas que quieren nadar a vueltas, ¿sí? Como laps, quieren nadar por su ejercicio de cada día.
Sí,
Entonces, una piscina, en ese caso, sí, es muy importante. Bien, hay otra cosa. Oh, sí, Cindy.
eh, ok. Mi casa ideal tendría una mujer cuerva,
¿Una qué cuerva?
mujer cueva, Cueva, cave.
¿Cómo
Oh,
se
perdón.
cueva?
Ok. Bien. EVA, no
Una
entiendo, perdón.
mujer cueva,
A
woman cave.
woman cave.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, I thought you
Nice.
said mujer, and I thought she meant something else. Ok.
Okay.
Y por eso no entendí. Ok, si quieres expresar, sí, eso, una cueva de mujer, ¿sí?
Ajá.
Una cueva de hombre, a man cave. Um, no sé si se puede expresar man cave realmente como cueva de hombre, ¿sí? Pero un cuarto especial para hombres, un cuarto especial para mujeres, ¿sí?
Sí.
Cindy, ¿qué tendría un cuarto de mujeres? What would a woman cave have?
Oh, yo tengo en mi garaje. Sí,
¿Y
sí,
qué contiene? ¿Qué
sí.
tiene?
Yo tengo una pequeña cocina y un baño y un sofá con un table
Televisión.
and chairs para mí.
Una mesita y silla, pero solamente para ti.
Sí,
¡Wow!
Cindy, it sounds like you have the casita.
La casita,
casita
sí.
en el garaje. Sí,
Es casita, sí,
Ujú.
sí.
Es
¿Se permiten casitas en Scottsdale? ¿Se permiten sí construir una casita? Sí,
Sí.
dicen que
Sí,
sí.
Sí.
no hay regulations, no hay regulations. Cuando construcción es en interior,
Ok.
solamente this is cambiar recently. Solamente inspecciones para the plumber and
Y
electrician.
electricidad, sí.
Ajá,
El plomero y para electricidad. Sí,
ajá,
sí, eso sí, entiendo.
yeah.
Wow.
Es perfecto. Es muy quiet.
Ay, a ver.
Tengo skylight. ¿Cómo se dice?
Sí. ¿Cómo se dice skylight? No sé si hay. Voy a buscar aquí. Ah, tragaluz.
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 Tragaluz. Una ventana que está en el techo, ¿sí? Que está en el techo. Sí, eso. Bien. Wow.
Es perfecto para estudiar.
Sí. Tengo dos tragaluces en mi casa. Una tragaluz que está directamente arriba de donde me siento aquí y otra tragaluz que está en la sala de la familia, ¿sí? La sala principal. Sí, esas sí me gustan mucho. Ok, vale. Bueno. Y si permiten las casitas, es interesante. Bueno, ah, bien. ¿Hay otra cosa para una casa? Sí, bueno, Marcos. Oh, y tiene
I'm mute.
embuteado.
Perdón. En mi casa ideal hay o tendría ah, cada dormitorio tendría un armario grande.
Ah, sí. Los armarios sí, son importantes, sí. También en mi casa ideal, yo tendría una, una habitación, ah, una, una habitación privada con como una puerta que podría cerrar para mi espacio de trabajar, ¿sí? Porque tenemos en nuestra casa este concepto de un great room, ¿sí? Un salón, pero la sala está conectada con la sala de toda la familia y no hay puerta, no existe una puerta que separa los dos cuartos. Así
Oh,
que cuando tengo una clase como ahora, sí, los otros miembros de la familia tienen que tener mucho cuidado, ¿sí? De no hacer mucho ruido en las otras partes de la casa, ¿sí? Y está abierta también a la cocina, ¿sí? Todo es un great room, ¿eh? El concepto, sí, de tener todo el espacio de vivir todo junto. Es una desventaja. That's kind of a disadvantage. Sí, sí, pero da el sentimiento de tener mucho espacio, que es magnífico, pero se puede oír cada cosa que pasa en los otros cuartos. Ok, bien. Hay otra cosa de la casa ideal y es difícil. Ah, fíjense, notice this, ideal, ¿sí? Se dice ideal, ¿sí? Queremos decir ideal, ideal, ¿sí? Es ideal. Bueno, hay otra cosa que quieren decirnos, ¿o no? ¿No? ¿Adelante? No. Ok, bien, vale, magnífico. Adelante. Adelante. Uy, vale. Adelante. Vamos a ver aquí qué pasa con esta idea de los mandatos, commands. Ah, what do you hear a lot? What do you use a lot? What are command forms? And when might you not use a command? This is kind of a cultural thing, para que sepan, so you know. And I think this last question is more of a Mexican thing, maybe. Although I do hear people from other countries mentioning this as well. One thing to know about commands and para que sepan, so you guys know, para que sepan. When I used to teach commands, because it was part of the curriculum with Spanish in high school setting, and actually you would teach kids commands the first week of class because you teach them things like, turn on the light, turn off the light, close the door, open the window, stuff like that, sit down and stand up, all that. All those are commands. American kids, por mi experiencia, in my experience, American kids do not understand what it means with the word command. All they can think about is the army. And because they're teenagers, I don't take commands from anybody. So yeah, and that's an age thing. Okay, at their age, they don't want to take commands from anybody, but they think command and they automatically think you're in the army now. And that is actually a good way to think about commands. On one hand, por un lado, sí, por otro lado, no. They don't really understand that. And I think by carryover, we don't understand sometimes that, or we don't think about that. We do give commands all the time. A command, even in English, is used all the time, but people don't think they're using it because the verb is the same. If you say the kids are running, it's the same verb, oh, kids run in the street. And then you give the command. You're starting a race between the kids in the neighborhood. Run. That's the command. To run. What's the command? Run. It's the exact same thing. There is no change. And I think because there is no change in English to give a command, we've got the verb to go, and you tell somebody go. It's the same verb, go. And because we don't have something to distinguish between the basic verb form that we start with and what the command is, people don't really understand what it is or when we use it. Okay, so teenage kids would be very confused about, why do I even need to do this? Because Spanish does switch to a different form to give a command. So even what a command is and when we use it is kind of confusing for English-speaking kids, and I think maybe even for English-speaking adults. So actually, you hear it a lot. You hear it when people give you requests to do things, okay? People hear it when you're actually asking for something in stores. We use it a lot with kids, with our partners, with, whoever, just all the people around us. But one thing to know is that los mandatos, that actual mandato, the command form in Spanish, has a stronger feeling of obligation than it does in English. All right? If you say to your kid, hey, go get me a pen, we don't think about that, but it's kind of forceful in Spanish. And therefore, especially, I will say this last thing of when you might not use a command. Actually, in Mexico, and in particular, that feeling of it being forceful is so strong that sometimes it comes off as being a little bit pushy in certain situations, like especially with family, because it's seen as kind of a finger wag in some situations. So there's something they do instead, and we'll talk about that at the end, okay? But regular commands we do give a lot and aren't necessarily pushy. And so we're going to take a look. We had you guys brainstorm some ideas of commands we use a lot. No importa, it doesn't matter which language, right? We did talk about this one a little bit, and we're going to reveal to you what these would be, okay? And then we're going to move on from there. Actually, we'll add any other common commands that you think you might need. So the first one is something that actually kind of breaks the rules, and it's probably the most common command. Anytime you want to say, let's go, that's a command. Yeah. And let's go is probably the most common command because, you're motioning along for other people to come with you, right? Okay. So let's take a look at the brainstorm ideas, and then we'll kind of get into the mechanics of stuff. Vamos, just the plain old we are going verb, is the command for let's go. And this kind of breaks some of the rules. You'll see why. Vamos. Vámonos is also a let's go, but it just tags on the nos on the end. It takes the vamos, we take the S off the end and we slap on that nos suffix, or not suffix, pronoun, perdón, pronoun, pronombre, see? So if we want to slap on the pronombre nos onto the end, we get rid of the S at the end of vamos because it would be too hard to pronounce with the S on the end. That's the reason why vámonos is a mouthful, but vámonos is easier to say. Vámonos. Vámonos is just a more colloquial, folksy way of saying, hey, let's get out of here. Yeah, vámonos. But vamos works just as well. There's no big difference between the two. Vámonos, maybe if you're talking about actually leaving a place, maybe a little more common. You know, like you're leaving the park or you're getting out of the place where you sat down for a cup of coffee. Yeah, when you're getting out of a place, maybe vámonos is a little bit more common, but these are pretty interchangeable. See? Bien. Okay. Look. The command for look is going to vary on who you're talking to. So let's think about this first before we even do our brainstorm ideas. A command is always given to either an us group, and that means I'm in the group. Okay, so commands exist for two reasons. Commands do not exist for he or she or those guys over there. It doesn't exist for that. It's got to exist for somebody you're talking to directly. Aha. So it won't go into a yo form, but it will go into a we form. Because then you're saying, hey, everybody who's along with me, and I include myself in the command, that's the us idea, okay? And the us idea means that we're expressing, ¿por qué no funciona? Why does this not want to work? As a let's idea. Let's. So let's is a command. And that's what the vamos part is, yeah? Vamos is a let's do it command, okay? Vámonos is a let's command. It means I'm including myself in the group, okay? So a command is either given to either us in a let's command or to somebody who is you. But think about that. You could be, how many words could you be?
It could be like, are you talking about tú or
Yeah,
usted?
it could be tú. It could be
Usted?
usted. It could be
Usted.
Ustedes.
ustedes. Yeah. In Spain, it could be vosotros. And there are different commands for all of those yous. Ooh, now this is no longer fun, is it? Yeah. It's no longer fun. It gets worse. Hang on, it gets worse. Okay, so that's kind of daunting. And luckily for you, we don't have to get into vosotros commands. Those do become a thing in Spain. To be honest with you, they're not that hard. But again, Latin Americans would hate having, and they do hate if they go like for a summer abroad or a school semester abroad to Barcelona. They hate having to use these. They literally do hate it. Because they don't like to have to, speak using that. They understand it, hearing it, but to have to speak it, it's like, I got to learn this. Okay, so great. The good news is you only have to learn these, but these become actually 4. These 3 becomes 4. And you're going to see why. Okay. So let's take a look at the idea of look. Look is mirar, right? Mirar. And how many times do some people say, "Oh,
Mire,
look"?
mire.
Yeah. Okay. So if
Mire,
you're
mire.
only talking to one person and it's somebody that you're with all the time and you call them by their first name, yeah, it's going to be a tu command. Yeah. Okay. So this part is not hard. This is the part that's not hard. A tu command for look is mira.
Mira.
All it is miras, the tu form without the S on the end. Well, that's easy. Qué fácil. How easy. Yeah, the tu command. So these are things we brainstorm these because these are things you say all the time and you don't even think about it. Oh, look. Yeah. Mira. Mira qué perrito precioso. Look what a cute little doggy. Mira qué perrito precioso. Look what a cute doggy. Mira, mira, mira. But if I've got two people with me, I can no longer use mira. Because if I've got two people with me, it's not a tu command anymore. Now it becomes an ustedes command, yeah? And ustedes command is this. Miren. Miren. Or let's say you're in a tour group. You're in a tour in Oaxaca. And they're pointing out, like, the historic cathedrals and all that kind of stuff, right? And they say to everybody in the group, miren allá, take a look over there. Miren allá. And because you're in a tour group and they're talking to a whole bunch of people, it can't be a tu command anymore. It's got to be miren. Miren. So how is miren different from mira? Let's take a look at that because this will help cement in your mind how it's different. Mira is just take the S off, okay, of the tu form, right? But miren, how is that different? It's still got the N at the end. That means I'm talking to more than one person. Okay. So that's an important thing to know. That N, the N that you use with an ellos form or an ustedes form is still there. But look at what happens here. We swap out and use the
E instead of the A.
opposite vowel. So if you're talking to more than one person and you want to say, hey, you guys, yeah, it'll be the opposite vowel. So it changes from mira to miren. Okay, so let's take a logical step forward. What if somebody were to use an usted command? Because let's say you're in a polite, fancy, schmancy restaurant or store. Mire.
Mire.
So look at what happens. Opposite vowel. An AR verb, mirar, shouldn't have an a ending. It should have an a ending, right? Okay. So AR verbs are going to have an opposite vowel for usted and for ustedes.
Mhm.
Okay. Magnifico. Great. All right. So even though not that bad, you have to kind of use the vowel that sounds wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mira, if you're only with one person and it's a friend, somebody you know, yeah. Miren, to talk to a group. Mire, if it's polite, talking to somebody you don't know. Okay. Vale. Bien. Let's think of the word help. Help, the verb form is ayudar.
Ayudar.
Ayudar. So help, if you're talking to your kids or somebody in your family, is
Ayuda.
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 Ayuda, right? We take ayudas would be the tu form. We just get rid of the s at the end and it's just ayuda. Ayuda. Help. Okay. You are looking over at a group of people and you want everybody in that group to do it. A you guys command is
Ayuden.
Ayuden. Ayuden. Ayuden. Okay. Some random stranger on the street.
Ayude.
Ayude. Bien. Okay. Ooh, let's add one little level of difficulty up because this is a common command. And this is said when you're in distress. Well, not always, but you know, you're right. It could not be, yeah, maybe not necessarily. You're right. You know what? Not necessarily in distress. What if you want to say, help me?
Udemy.
Ayúdame.
Ayúdame.
One thing to know, if I need an extra pronoun to tell who you want to help, I need that word me to say help me, right? Ayúdame. And I have to tag it on to the end. I have to tag it on to the end. Ayúdame.
Now
Now,
it's reflexive, right?
it needs an accent mark. You know what? Doesn't matter if you're speaking, that accent mark doesn't mean diddle squat. Yeah. Because how are you going to, you know how you say the word is ayuda, right? Ayuda, ayuda. Okay. So you just tag on the me, ayúdame. Yeah. If it were written out though, it would look like that. Okay. Bien. So don't freak out about the accent mark. Unless you're typing a message, it doesn't, that accent mark is like a no big deal. Okay. Ayúdame. Ayúdanos. Help us. Ayúdanos. See? Bien. Okay. Vale. So, friendly command, just take the the S off of the to form. Ayuda. Right? Swap out the vowel for un usted command. Swap out the vowel for an or un ustedes command. Same thing there. Okay. Bien. And the reason I added that on is because the hurry up, you're often going to need this little pronoun. And there are different ways to say hurry up, but apurarse. Apúrate. Apúrate. And we need an accent mark there, but again, if you're speaking it, it kind of doesn't really matter. Apúrate, apúrate, apúrate. Could also be date prisa. Different way to say hurry up. Bien. Okay. So, apúrate for you guys. Hey, you guys, move it. Hurry up. Apúrense. 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 Apúrese. Bien. Okay. Bien. Vale. Bien. You just want to tell somebody to like open a window, open a door, right? Abrir. We'll take abrir first. Abrir, abrir. How do we make abrir a command for just somebody you're with in your family? We use
Abra?
well, see that somebody in your family, right? If abres is the to form, we just get rid of the
S.
S.
Abre.
Abre.
abre la puerta, ¿sí? Abre la puerta. Abre la ventana, por favor. Okay. And really kind of important to know, wow, do not forget to use the por favor. Especially in Mexico, they really like the por favor with a command like that, even if it's just for your family, because it's seen as polite, and that is kind of a big deal. Okay? Bien. Vale. Okay, so abre. But if you're with with a bunch of people, it could be opposite vowel will be not abre, but
Abram.
Ren.
Abran,
Vean.
Yeah.
sí, abran, or for one person, abra, sí, abra. Okay, vale. Let's take a look at cerrar. Cerrar. The tu form would be cierras, right? So,
Cierra.
Be
cierra, close. Cierra la ventana, por favor. Cierra. Okay, let's take a look at what would happen with you guys.
Cierran.
Cierren,
Yeah, cierren.
cierren, o
Sí.
one person, but usted.
Cierre.
Cierre.
Cierre, cierre, sí, cierre, cierre. Okay. Bien. Vale. And just like we tag this on to say, ayúdame, help me, or apúrate, move your butt, person. Come on. Apúrate, hurry up. Yeah. If you say close it, well, it won't be me,
No.
right?
Eh.
It'll
Yeah.
be, well, it could be different things, but let's say you're talking about a door. La puerta. It'll be
La.
Lo.
La.
la.
Oh, la.
Right? Yeah, la. It
puerta.
could be
La
lo. It could be lo. See? But it depends on what you're opening or closing. See? Close it. Ciérrela, ciérrela. And again, it needs an accent mark if you're writing it, but it doesn't matter if you're speaking because you don't say an accent mark. It's just there, right?
Just a quick question,
Sí,
sorry.
sí.
So Sierra La, it always has la has to be at the end of the Sierra.
With an affirmative command, a command that says, go do it,
Okay.
do attach.
Okay. So not La Sierra. Okay.
Because, okay, esto es importante. This is going to become important soon. Affirmative commands and negative commands. Some commands are affirmative, go do it. Some commands are don't do that. Yeah, and those are negative commands. Okay, vale. See, affirmative commands do attach pronouns, do attach it. And very, very often people will, because you're referring to something you can gesture towards, it'll be an it. And whether the it is la or lo depends on what the object is. See? Okay. Bien. See. If close it becomes the book, right? Then it's, instead of ciérrela, it's
Ciérrelo.
Cierrelo.
ciérrelo. See? See? Ciérrelo. Yeah. Before a test, I would tell kids, close your books. Close them. Ciérrenlos. Ciérrenlos, por favor. ¿Sí? Okay. Vale. Bien. So, this is the down and dirty basic. Here are things you hear a lot. Oh, momento. Let's take a look at our word wait. You know what? I'm going to create another window because I want to have enough space. Necesito espacio. Necesito espacio. Aquí. Vale, bueno, wait. Wait is esperar. So, you just tell somebody, hey, wait.
Espera.
Espera.
Esperas would be the tu form. We just get rid of the
Yes.
Espera.
espera. Espera, por favor. Espera, por favor. See, bien. But if you're talking to a whole group of people and you say, hey, wait, right here,
Esperan, por favor.
we swap out the vowel, right? Esperen, por favor.
Oh, esperan. Oh.
Esperen. We swap out that vowel. Notice, espera. We just took off the S from the tu form, see? Espera, but we have to swap out the vowel.
Mhm.
Esperen por favor. Or if somebody like in a store or in, let's say, a doctor's room, this would be a common thing. You know, you're in a doctor's office and they tell you, please wait here.
Espere.
Yeah, espere.
Okay, I get it.
So do know, and that is a super common thing for people to ask. Yeah. In a tour group, it's a super common thing to ask. They want you to wait in the space because you're waiting for a train or you're waiting for a subway. Yeah. Esperan aquí, por favor. Esperan aquí, por favor. Hey, you guys, wait here, please. Esperan aquí, por favor. Sí, Cindy.
If you are speaking to people you know well, do you still change it?
In Spain, yes. Anywhere else, no.
So you would say esperan, esperan.
It's always esperen. For you guys, it's always esperen in Latin America. Because the only you guys command they have in Latin America is ustedes. In Spain, there's a separate set of commands for vosotros.
So if it's plural, it doesn't make any difference.
A plural you,
Yes,
the plural you gets the N, the N.
right. But since this is an AR verb, and if you're doing a plural verb, it's always the EN. If you know people, you're familiar or
Even,
not.
yes,
Yes.
because in Latin America, they don't use both a familiar and there's no separation with plural.
Plural.
you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because there's no, okay, tú and usted are tú, familiar you, usted, formal you. But when you go into you guys, it's just ustedes.
Mhm.
So familiar or formal makes no difference in giving a command. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bien, bien. Buena pregunta. Really good question.
Marilyn,
Sí, sí.
can I risk derailing you just for a second here? Let's use wait as the example, esperar. How about let's wait here? Would that be done? Can you do an example or two like that with the, for
Bien.
nos?
Sí, exacto. Okay. Let's wait. Let's make it an us command. It means I'm going to do it along with everybody else. And that's the important difference. Why is that different? It's because I'm going to do it too, right? If I tell you guys to do something, I might be doing something totally different.
Right.
But if I say let's, it means I'm including myself in the group. That's the important difference and that's it. Okay, so esperar. Okay, you would think it might be this, right? This is how we just say we are doing this for a fact, right? Esperamos. If I want to make it a let's command, I've got to swap out the vowel.
Esperemos?
Bien,
Huh.
esperemos. Let's wait here. Esperemos aquí. Esperemos aquí.
Esperemos aquí.
Let me show you another command that is super, super common. Okay. Empezar, to begin, to start.
Empecemos.
A lot of times we say, let's begin.
Empecemos.
Yeah? Okay. Vale. Bueno. If we're talking about a fact, we are starting to do something, right? That's the form we need. Empezamos. Empezamos, right? But if I want to make it a command like let's begin, let's start, I need to swap out the vowel. So it becomes
Any.
an e. So how does it sound if I swap out the a for an e?
Empecemos.
Empecemos. Bien.
Empecemos.
Okay. Empecemos. There's a little problem here. It's not a problem when you're speaking. It's a problem when you're writing. Empecemos, right? Empezamos, empecemos. Here's the problem with the writing. It's a spelling thing. When you're speaking, no importa. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
Empezamos, empecemos, yeah, empecemos. Empecemos, but just know when it's written out, it's a spelling thing. And that's because there's a rule in Spanish. Z in front of E has to change into C. Okay.
Okay.
No biggie. It's a spelling thing. If you're speaking,
So-
it doesn't matter. See?
Marilyn, I remember back from my high school Spanish days that the Spanish teacher would say, "Vamos a empezar," when it was
Vamos a
time for us to
empezar.
begin.
Sí.
And that's another way to say, "Let's begin."
It's another way to say it. Oh, what's a workaround?
Yeah.
A workaround for a let's command, a workaround to avoid it because you're having a brain fart and you can't think of the thing to say is that you can just express the same thing as vamos a empezar.
Mhm.
See, that's a workaround. Okay. So these workarounds kind of matter because people sometimes just change up the way they express something because they just feel like it.
Marilyn, another kind of question here with the using empezar. So with to and usted, that would go through the stem change even as with the command, right?
Ah, sí, 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 sí. Okay, so let's take a look at that. You're talking to one at the stem change. Yes, it does have to be there. Empieza is the tu command. Empieza. But now, if we give it as okay, if we give it as an usted command, empiece. If we give it as an ustedes command,
Listen.
empiecen. Sí, empiecen. That's why. I don't need none. Empiecen. Sí. Bien. And that ZE can't be a combination. Okay, this is just a spelling thing. It still sounds the exact same way. See? Empieza becomes empiece. Empiecen. Okay. Vamos a empezar is a workaround. Okay. That is a workaround to know. We're going to do it is a workaround that people will use in the same situation. Yeah? Bien. There's yet another workaround. I'm going to show you what the next workaround is because you hear it a lot. Let's think about comer. Eat. Hey, you tell your kid, eat that. Your kid doesn't want to eat it. They're vegetables, right? Okay. You tell your kid to eat something. We use the comes and we take off the,
Es.
so it's
Come.
just
Come.
come. See? Eat it. Cómelo. Cómelo, por favor. Por favor. Cómelo. Eat it. Okay, we need an accent mark. That doesn't matter when you're speaking because you're not writing it for heaven's sake. You're telling somebody, cómelo. Okay, bien? All right. Hey, you guys, eat. The food's ready. Eat.
Comelen.
We have to switch out the vowel.
Come on.
Coma. Coma.
Come on. Wouldn't it?
Coman,
Mhm.
coman,
Coma.
coman to the whole group. This probably wouldn't be really common to use in a slave command unless it's maybe a waiter to, yeah, but you know. Okay, but coman would be common because grandma looks at the group, right? And she says, hey, everybody, the food is hot. Yeah, cómanlo, cómanlo, eat it, cómanlo, eat it all up. Okay, vale, bien. All right. Hey, How often do you say, let's eat?
Let's see.
All the
Like
time.
all the time.
All the time. Let's eat. Because I mean, I'm going to do it too, along with you. So this is possibly the most common one out of this whole group, unless you're like telling your kid who doesn't want to eat his veggies. Okay. Let's eat. Instead of comemos, we've got to swap out the vowel so it becomes
Comamos.
Vamos.
comamos. Comamos. Let's eat. A workaround. Your brain
Vamos
doesn't want
a
to do it. You're tired. You've
comer.
had too many
Vamos,
drinks.
yeah. Vamos a comer.
Vamos a comer.
Yeah, right.
And now I'm going to show you the ultimate workaround because this is also something. Why are we doing all these? Because you may hear people say these different ways. That's why we're showing you this. Because you may hear people, somebody feels like saying it a different way. Why? Because they feel like it. Okay. All right. Here is the last workaround for comer. Because actually, you may hear this a lot. A comer. It's a workaround. Don't change the verb at all. Put an a in front of it. A comer.
Marilyn, can you explain how how it works?
Why? I can't explain why. It just is. Isn't that the worst explanation ever? Why do they do that? I don't know, but they just do. A comer, a comer. You know
Does
what?
does it work with other verbs?
Sometimes. But
Or
a
could you
comer is like a super common one. Thinking about it this way, Rebecca, if somebody's like really excited about it, like it's a point of excitement because it's Thanksgiving and it's special food and it's better than the ordinary meal. It kind of puts a in it.
Emphasis.
That's all I can
can you
tell
do
you.
the same with beber? Drink? Like let's
Oh,
drink?
yeah, you got that
Yeah, all
right.
the
You
time.
see,
Yeah.
a beber.
A beber. Yeah.
Yeah, you're planning on it being a long night of many
Yeah,
drinks
right.
with
That's
people.
what I'm thinking.
There you go. Yeah. Eso, sí. Does it work with all verbs? Technically, yes, but in practice, maybe not so much. But boy, that a comer you hear a lot. Yeah. A comer. But you know what? It kind of puts some celebration in it, Rebecca. I don't know if that helps you at all, but you will hear it. You will hear people use that. Yeah. Okay, another situation, Rebecca, where you may hear a comer, a comer. You know that annoying situation where nobody is supposed to start eating until everything is set out on the table?
Yeah.
And people are still bringing plates out, and it's like, don't you touch that before everybody gets, before it's all laid out pretty. That's another a comer.
I come.
It's a comer is like saying dig in. Yeah. Think about that. Somebody learning English, if you sit down at the table and you say dig in, somebody who doesn't know English might think, what the heck? But you know what it means when somebody sits down and everybody, like there are 10 people at the table, and somebody says, hey, dig in. You know what that means. Does that make
Yep.
any sense to somebody
So
who
it's
doesn't
just
speak
like one
English?
of those it's just kind of an expression that
It's
like
and
you just
Rebecca,
need to know.
think of a comer as just one of those things that you just will hear. Like
That's
dig
it.
in. Yeah,
Mm.
like that. Okay. But it's a command. But this kind of shows you that different things happen. You may hear different things, and these are like common ones. These are not even like the oddball things. These are things like about things we do every day, right? Eso es. Okay. So let's take a look. I'd like you to think about this too. I'm going to now show you this is going to go into the Mexican thing in particular. Mexicans consider it in some situations kind of in your face to give a command because a command is kind of seen as wagging your finger and saying, I'm the one in command. I'm the one in charge here. You must do it. You must. And that's seen as being extremely forceful. So here's what often happens in a situation like this. And you do know you can give it as a command, yeah? So you can say, give me this thing for food or give me this thing for drink, right? But here's what often happens in Mexican Spanish to really soften it so that you don't come off as like pushy. Turn it into a question. ¿Me das? Or I'll put the das, I'll put this in parentheses. See? Uy, a ver. Uy, a ver. Bien. My punctuation things go all in different places with my different keyboard. ¿Me da or me das? If it's a teenage kid serving you, why would we make it a tú if you don't know somebody at the restaurant? If it's a teenager serving you, which is kind of a common thing to have a teenager be a waitress or a waiter, yeah? Yeah. You might talk to the teenager in a tú form, and that's okay. It's not talking down to him. It's not making him feel like he's nothing. It's just, you're young. He's really young, okay? They know that. Me da. Me da otra copa de vino. Would you get me another? Yeah, would you give me? Right? Here's the thing. In English, the I'd really is short for I would. And so people frantically do this. Don't do that. Because there is a word for that, but it's not what they use in that situation.
Ah,
Yeah. I'd like a beer. I'd like a wine. It's a request, isn't it? Isn't it kind of a command? Yeah, kind of.
yeah.
Marilyn,
Yeah.
don't they usually, do you usually use tomar when you're ordering food?
Tomar is another thing. Yeah, me gusta. Y sí, me gustaría tomar. I would like to drink. Me gustaría tomar un café. Me gustaría tomar una cerveza. Yeah, I would like. But in general, especially down in Mexico, I will say if you're traveling down
Oh.
there, this is a real common way to ask for things. There are, Rebecca, really good point. I think I'm going to look for because there are a couple of videos that do this well. Because a command is really a request for something, and we
Right.
request things in restaurants an awful lot.
Yeah.
Next week, when we've got time, we're going to dive into that, and we'll show you some other things that may happen. There are different verbs that are often used to order, and if you think, "What? That's confusing," it is. People who are Latin Americans who live in Spain think it's weird that they use a different verb to order stuff. And there's a totally different verb in Latin America that people may use to order stuff. So it's kind of helpful to know depending on which country you're in. But do know we're looking at the Mexican part of it now because of
Right.
where we
Okay.
live. Yeah, but we'll look at some other alternatives. Gracias, Rebecca. Thank you for asking that. Es importante. It's important. So this with the food type, yeah? With the food or drink.
Marilyn, does pedir get into this somehow?
It can. It can. Yeah, quiero pedir, but again, wow, it's a little different structure. Yeah. So we're going to look at that next week because
Okay.
it's a big thing. It's a big, actually, this whole command thing is a big thing. And you're going to see why it's a big thing because we're not even going to touch on one topic. I told you, and I did not lie, that this thing of addressing somebody as tú or usted or ustedes is 3 different U's, but in commands it actually becomes 4 different things. And we haven't looked at
Number 4.
because it's weird. And it's not something you can say. I could tell you in 3 minutes, but you would never remember it. And then your brain will go, and your brain will say, I'm done with this. But you know what? Your brain isn't done with it when we take it in mini steps, right? So the 4 thing, we're leaving it as a 3 thing for now. Because right now, we're only doing go do it commands, right? Open it, close it, hurry up, wait. Right? It's different if it's a don't do it for tú, but only for tú. Only for tú. Tú is a very lonely thing. Tú requires special, weird stuff. So tú, when it becomes next week, la semana que viene, next week. Tú, when it's a no, when it's a don't do it, becomes something else. But don't worry about that yet. We're just covering the go do it stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. The go do it. Yeah. Hey, kids, run, have fun. Yeah, that's okay. So, okay, what we covered here was knowing that you take away the ese, right? And just use a verb. That's not too hard, is it? No, no es difícil. And the swap out the vowel, well, okay, it's kind of a pain, but it's not impossible. No es imposible, right? So moving from mira to miren to mire is not too awful. You can live with it. Can you live with it? Sure, you can live with it. Bien. Okay.
Marilyn, could you pop back up the previous screen you had with where you were talking about meda?
See. Here. That's the
Okay.
super, that's the polite. I'm not even using a command. I'm turning it into a question instead of making it kind of command. I should have made that clear.
I think I caught that part, but would you just kind of separate out when meda versus medas?
Oh, yes. See. Okay. Let me get rid of this part. Yeah. This thing here is turn the okay, not turn it into, you're not turning it into anything. Use a question instead of a command. So what is that about? That is about, instead of making it a command, that verb dar, instead of making it a command, make it a question. All right. So what is that question? That question is either me da, if the idea is usted, me da una cerveza. Me da una cerveza. That is the turn it into a question instead of make it a command. In Mexico, they like this a lot. Okay? Because you're not ordering people around. You're just saying, hey, do this for me, would you? It's a question, nothing more. And let's say the server is maybe 15, you know, a young kid. You could give it as a tú question. Me das una cerveza, por favor, sí.
Por favor.
Por favor. Always a por favor, see?
Always a-
So when you're ordering stuff, yeah, This is a down and dirty quickie. And this is a kind of I will say it's kind of a Mexican thing, although I think it's common in Latin America as well. Actually, used in Spain as well. Instead of giving a command, quite often, it's a common practice, especially in a place of service, to just ask a question instead. Okay. So why are we telling you this? Because in really common situations, these are all everyday things. You may hear this expressed different ways. Mark, did this make sense for me to tell you? We're just making it a question?
Yes, where I just got thrown because I was just doing this in columns for tú, usted, ustedes, that you had put the me da, which would be for usted, had went through that one first, and it just threw me off. Nope.
And
that
I'm
was
going to
me.
actually turn this into a separate thing on its own, because this is a thing of like knowing why this happens is kind of important, right? A command is seen as a sort of forceful thing. So sometimes, to be kind of polite, you really want to just turn it into a question. And there was actually an excellent video on this, and I swear to you guys, I looked for like an entire hour. I even knew which channel it was on, and I could not find it. I wonder if it has been deleted. I could not find it anywhere. But this is a thing often, instead of give a command, just use a question. And the question can be a question with a tú verb, and the question can be a question with an usted verb. Either way. Yeah, I'll put this in a separate slide so that it's separate from the other commands. So we're going to dive into this more next week. We're going to look at the no aspect of don't do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the happy precursor to the don't do that is that no commands for usted and ustedes are always the same. So if you know how to make an usted command, you know how to make an ustedes command, makes no difference whatsoever. If it's a no command, don't do that, or a yes command, go do that. Yay. The only thing where it's going to throw a real wrench in the works is going to be for a tú command. Now, so the good news is, usually, I would say the yes, go do it are more common. Yeah. So we're going to come back and do this more. We're going to do this more because you have to get used to the go do it some more with some more examples. So we're going to see a whole bunch more examples next week. And then we'll look at the oddball things that don't follow a rule. Yeah. So we're going to reinforce this next week, do more of the same next week. And we'll introduce what happens when it becomes a no, just in case. Because once in a while, you do need a negative command. Yeah. Don't touch that. Don't touch me.
Okay.
Don't bother me. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, bien. ¿Todo bien? All good? ¿Sí?
Okay.
Bien? Okay. So commands pop up at odd times, but they often happen to give a request, right? To just flat out tell somebody, go do something. Yeah. To ask for things. And it may morph into different forms. Bien. So we'll leave you with that. I will reorder that a little bit to make the question thing a little more obvious. So it'll be a slide all by itself.
Good.
Right. And I'll give you the rest of that so you can preview it and take a look at it to kind of preview for next week. And then we'll have a brand new video just for listening, just for fun, like the Andres thing. See? Todo bien? All good?
Marilyn, question. When does the next session start?
Next session starts
Around.
after the new year.
After the new year, okay.
I want to say January 6th, something like,
Okay.
¿Cuál es? I think signups come up registration. I am so sorry to even bring up that word because fall is just a pain in the neck. Because if somebody doesn't sign up for both in fall, you got to tell people
It will be
twice.
January
And
6th.
people
yes.
forget.
That's
The first
Monday.
lesson will be January 6th.
Okay, good.
El
All
6
right.
de enero. It'll be January 6th. I can tell
right.
you that for sure. I can tell you for sure that signups will be like the first week of December,
Remember. Excelente.
something like that. See, bien? It might even happen. It might even, I think they did switch it up. I promise I will look up what that date is because
No
they
problem.
did send me an email
fine.
about it, just so people
Okay.
could know. And I'll set it out in a separate email because people want to know about signups, like when they do tennis or some other stuff as well. Sí, bien, todo bien.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bueno,
Okay.
gracias, mil gracias.
Okay.
Sí.